So I seem to be talking a lot about lesser known brands or underhyped houses. Like yesterday I did a video on Caron, the latest men's fragrances, Caron Par Nom de Caron Parfum. Did you catch that video? Please go catch it if you didn't. It's a really great offering from that house. It's a beefed up Par Nom de Caron in Parfum concentration. But today I'm talking about Zadig Voltaire. Are you familiar with this house? Are you a fan of their fragrances? So I discovered Zadig Voltaire probably around 10 years ago during my travels to France. At that time, Zadig Voltaire had some other fragrances. I don't know what happened to those, probably discontinued. But around 2016, they launched a him and a her fragrance. This is him and this is her. And they've created multiple flankers of these fragrances throughout the years. And they have two new ones that just launched. This is really him, this is really her. But is it really him? Is it really her? Well, we're going to find out about these two fragrances coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's Sebastian. We're talking about Zadig Voltaire. Let me know if you're a fan of this house. I do enjoy this house. In fact, I see a lot of their stores all over different places I travel to within France. And I've been a fan of their clothing. I have a few pieces here and there. And I've been a fan of their fragrances as well. I've done a full review of This Is Him. It's a fragrance created by Nathalie Lorson. But I just was looking up the fragrance and I found out that they've added Aurelien Guichard as a co-perfumer on this one. I wasn't aware. When I shot my original review of this, This Is Him, only name I saw was Nathalie Lorson. And This Is Really Her, I keep forgetting. This Is Her is a milky lactonic fragrance that was created by Sidonie Lancesseur, and I've featured it here in various videos throughout my channel. You can go catch those. But they've also added another perfumer here for this, Sidonie Lancesseur and Michel Almairac. I don't know how come they've added new perfumers to these, but maybe they were never mentioned in the past. But the new fragrances, This Is Really Him and This Is Really Her, are by Nathalie Lorson and Sidonie Lancesseur. So we'll see if they add more names. But let me know if you're a fan of these fragrances, if you're a fan of this house. They're not really readily available here in the States. You'd have to get them at the discounters or get them from Europe. So the prices I don't have for these because there aren't any USA prices for these fragrances yet. And they're so brand new, you're not going to find them at the discounters. What we're going to do is first talk about This Is Him. Again, I haven't got my nose on these fragrances. And we're going to find out how they smell. Are they really flankers of the originals? Or are they brand new releases? We shall see. But in the fragrance world, it's all about flankers these days. Utilizing the name, capitalizing on the name, coming up with brand new releases that have nothing to do with the originals. But this one, according to the notes, it's bright grapefruit and sparkling lemon for top notes. Heart notes, metallic orange blossom accord. Base notes, vibrant notes of Palo Santo and Amber woods. The original Zadig Voltaire, This Is Him, which is in this box here, is known about sandalwood, vanilla, incense, black pepper, and grapefruit. Really enjoyed that one. I mean, I'm a bit bored of it, but really enjoyed it for a while. So this is the bottle for This Is Really Him. And it's interesting that this is considered an eau de toilette intense, and the woman's is considered an eau de parfum intense. And always the male release in this designer house is an eau de toilette for men and eau de parfum for women. Why do you think men don't like eau de parfum concentration fragrances? I don't understand this situation, but come on, make these fragrances eau de parfum for all of us. Don't exclude the guys, right? But this is the bottle right here, typical of their other bottle. Let me show you. Whereas the original bottle is all black right here, and I've got that kind of edge right there. But I much prefer the black bottle, honestly. What do you guys think? Anyway, let's get our nose on this and see what it's all about. It does say eau de toilette intense, but for me, it's got so much citruses in it. How could it be more intense? Because I read the description that this is supposedly the most intense out of all of the men's fragrances. The same thing with the women's. It's the most intense out of all the feminine fragrances. But with the notes they're using, to me, it doesn't seem like they're intense notes. You've got not only the grapefruit and the lemons, but you've got orange blossom. And in the original, in the black bottle, it was only grapefruit citruses. Everything else seems like a really potent note, like sandalwood, vanilla, incense, black pepper. Anyway, we'll see how it is. Interesting. I can smell the Palo Santo mixed with a lot of orange blossom. It doesn't smell like the original, maybe having a slightish DNA of the original. There's an interesting smell in here of something leathery, but more like rubber leather rather than leather. Does that make sense? Let's go ahead and smell it on skin. Whoa. It's a bit more interesting on skin. Less of that rubbery leather I'm getting on the strip. More bright. Honestly, though, I am smelling the original DNA in here now on skin as well. It's more like an orange blossomy take on the original. That's what I'm getting. Which doesn't really scream more intense than the original version. Does that make sense to you guys? Because the original is very dark. It's smoky, it's woody, it's vanillic for sure, and then it's spicy with the black pepper. And they've got that zing from grapefruit in there, but the grapefruit to me on the original doesn't last as long because it wears off. You're left with the sandalwood, vanilla, incense, black pepper combo. This actually is reminding me of the original, but it's reminding me of it, but it's acting a little differently, plus it's overdosed in the orange blossom. Very different on strip compared to skin, where I'm not getting that kind of rubbery, leathery touch on skin. Maybe it is there a little bit, but a bit more faint. I mean, it's pleasant. It's reminding me of the original. Maybe you might not need it. I like the original a lot. I know people complain about the longevity of it. It is eau de toilette in the end. I'm not sure how this is going to perform on skin. Also looks like there's a lot used on here. I only sprayed like 4 sprays. I like it. It's not so different that I would demand it compared to the original. I like the change of adding that orange blossomy effect. And again, for me, anytime you add florals like that, citrus florals, and more citruses, it doesn't scream more intense. And according to the description, this is the most intense version for a male fragrance in the Zadig Voltaire catalog of men's fragrances. So I will put it to test and then come back and let you guys know about it later. But as far as smell goes, I like the way it smells. I like the addition of the orange blossom. I'm just not sure it's going to be more intense than the original This Is Him. So it's a pleasant flanker, I would say. Now, moving on to the feminine release, This Is Really Her. With this one, I noticed the notes were quite different than compared to the original, like really different. So has it changed much? For me, it was a woody, milky fragrance, which I quite enjoyed. It's very cozy and comforting. But once again, this is a fragrance created by Sidonie Lancesseur. She's done some fragrances for the House of Killian. But let me show you what this one looks like. And the original bottle of This Is Her is here. I actually really like the original bottles, both for men and women. Right there. Let me know if you're a fan of the original for the ladies. The original for the ladies, I know a lot of you love it because I get comments about people mentioning it all the time. But with this one, again, Sidonie Lancesseur, top notes, sparkling notes of pink berries and pink basil. Heart notes, metallic rose and chestnut accord. Base notes, labdanum, patchouli, and sandalwood. And in the original, there was chestnuts, but there was no rose in the original, so this is kind of throwing me off. We'll see how it is. So the woman's This Is Really Her is Eau de Parfum Intense. Originally Eau de Parfum. Definitely lots of rose here. It's much I mean, the original was not rosy at all. This is like a rose bomb. I mean, it starts off pretty rosy. Pink berries meaning pink pepper. So it's a spicy, rosy touch. Eventually, it's going to get ambery. But how is that going to mix with... So I guess they've removed the milky notes. Although, when you smell it, you're picking up something creamy. So it is keeping the original DNA, but for me, the addition of the rose is quite intense. The original featured sandalwood, whipped cream, cashmere wood, chestnut, and pink pepper. So some of the notes are here. And this is, I would say, kind of going into the direction of something like Intense Cafe. Because Intense Cafe, even though it's called Intense Cafe, cafe word, it's not very coffeed. So I'm experiencing something like that here. Kind of a creamy, rosy touch. The rose is not the same as Intense Cafe for sure, though. Let's go ahead and spray this one on as well. Let me know if you're a fan of This Is Really Her. And what do you guys think of the names? This Is Her went from This Is Her to This Is Really Her. This Is Him went from This Is Him to This Is Really Him. What's going to be next? This Is Really, Really Her. This Is Really, Really Him. Yeah. It's kind of that creamy, rosy, spicy, ambery. The chestnut adds that kind of unique chestnutty nuttiness, which creates a bit of not milky but gourmand touch. But this is not as creamy as the original. Not much. Not at all. But I like it. I like this one. Would I rush out and get it? I think I would wait for the discounters. I think it's not. Although I should say Zadig & Voltaire as a house is really great for me compared to a lot of mass houses. Like if I was to pick between YSL and Zadig & Voltaire, I would definitely pick Zadig & Voltaire. I like their fragrances because they're a little more unique. Same thing with Armani. I like their fragrances. But I think this will satisfy some people, especially if you like rose, a spicy rose that has these like light creamy touches and some light gourmand touches, because this is developing into a woody, ambery dry down. And the fact that they have patchouli in here as well, giving me a little bit of chypre vibes. Yeah, it's pleasant. I like both of them actually. Just for me, the one that has the most change is the This Is Really Her. For me, This Is Really Him had a lot of similarities to the original, so it's not much of a change for me. The fact that they've added the rose in This Is Really Her makes it totally different than when you smell this original This Is Her. Let me go ahead and spritz that on a strip and yeah, this is very, very creamy. In fact, I'm getting that creaminess more here. But no, what I mean is I'm getting the creaminess in the strip, but the rose is so strong that it's kind of like crossing it out. But without the rose here, it's just basically like whipped cream, creamy, milky, woody, a bit musky as well from the cashmere wood. No, This Is Really Her is nice. It's pleasant. I think I still prefer This Is Her because I'm not really sure about the rose yet, but I like it. And on skin, it's even closer to This Is Her. Once the rose starts to kind of disappear a little bit, it's acting more like This Is Her. God, I'm getting confused with the names. And with This Is Him, like I said, it was very similar to the original, but that orange blossom is so powerful, it's making it different. But once you cross out the orange blossom, to me, the DNA is there of the original This Is Him. Anyway, so those are my thoughts on these two new releases from Zadig & Voltaire. Do let me know if you're a fan of these two fragrances or the originals. Let me know if you're a fan of this house. So this is Really Her and This Is Really Him. Let me know what you think of the names. And do you enjoy their fashion? Let me know. Put a comment down below so I can find out. Again, thanks so much for watching today's video. I do like to do videos on houses that are not so hyped, I guess. Because some people need to talk about them, I guess. But let me know if you want to see other videos of other designer houses. Again, this channel is mostly about niche houses, but I do once in a while do like to cover some designer houses that I enjoy. And I think, like I said, Zadig & Voltaire is a pretty decent designer house. They have some really great smelling fragrances. As performance goes, I'm not 100% sure they're the best, I mean for performance, but for original smells, I think this is a pretty good house. So if you haven't discovered Zadig & Voltaire, please do. Try and find their fragrances online at the discounters. I have a hard time finding their fragrances in any stores here in the States. And if you do see them in stores here in the States, do let me know. I'm not talking about their physical fashion stores. I don't even know if they have any standalone stores. I think we did have one here in San Francisco. I think it's closed now. But yeah, let me know. Put a comment down below. And thank you so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook. And I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.